Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Fit Chicks Chat. My name's Laura Jackson.
And I'm Amanda Quinn.
And on today's episode, before we get into it, because we got a lot to cover, I just want to make sure that everybody knows that we have Holistic Weight Loss Coach Day that is coming up on February 24th. This is a free one-day event where we are diving into our top weight loss coaching tools, as well as how to become a top coach that makes impact and income. So to grab your free ticket, go to fitchicksacademy.com/coach day. I'm joking, and you can go and grab your free ticket and then join us. So if you've been thinking about becoming a coach, or if you're already a coach and missing the nutrition and weight loss coaching and really want to grow in this area, it's going to be such an amazing day of workshops and trainings and prizes and giveaways and all of the fun that we like to have at Fit Chicks Academy.
Yeah, and join today too, because as soon as you join, you can jump right into the group. And even before the day happens, we have like a lot of like preliminary events and daily sort of like prizes and activities and things like that, and little giveaways happening. So jump into the group as soon as you hear this. Go to fitchicksacademy.com/coach day, as Laura said. Grab your free ticket, put it in your calendar, check it out daily so that you can like see what's up and coming on that day as well.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be a good one. Okay, so which kind of leads us into what we are talking about today on the podcast. So if you caught last week's podcast, we were talking about the business of holistic coaching and health coaching. And we got so many great responses and questions around that so if you missed it, go back and listen to it, that we thought we would kind of carry on that podcast and even give a little bit more specifics around how you can actually generate income as a holistic nutrition and health coach. Because what I was saying last week, where I think a lot of coaches get stuck, is that they get this amazing certification. They feel super confident about their skills and their ability to coach, but then they don't know anything about the business side of it. And this is something that for, you and I, we always had a different foot in the game, I guess you would say, because we started in business. Like our background originally was corporate. So if you're new to the podcast, we'll just give you a little bit of a recap. So 15 years ago, we started Fit Chicks, and we started as a women's fitness company, and that we expanded across the country. And we essentially, after about 8 years of doing that, we ended up moving into offering certifications for trainers, for fitness coaches, for weight loss coaches, for nutrition coaches, and then moved into the online space. So we've built a multi-seven-figure business, both in person and online. So we have a huge background in this area. But as I was saying, one of the things that was really different for us was because we ended up working corporate, we went to school for marketing and sales and things like that, which FYI, guys, still in the real world of entrepreneurship was different, but we always loved business. Like we loved
really translate at all.
And it did probably at the time, but it's funny because, when we look back to when we first started our business, there was no Facebook ads or TikTok ads or YouTube channels and things like that. Like it literally was, we were hanging up posters, we were building relationships and connections, we were volunteering at events to get our name out there. Like it was very grassroots and like on the ground, pounding the pavement, which I still think works totally.
Well, it's actually so funny that you say that, because I was just going to jump in and say, however, yes, we did that when we first started, but if I was going to be starting a coaching business today, that was like an in-person coaching business specifically, I would follow those same patterns. I would do that. Like if today I decided, okay, I'm going to open up an in-person coaching practice, I would actually use that same grassroots marketing model today that I did 15 years ago, because it works. And it would still work today. And then eventually I would get into online and all that. But it's such a busy space online that sometimes going in person and doing that grassroots, if you're doing in-person stuff, is the best and fastest approach to getting people in your community. So
completely. I get networking events.
Totally.
Yeah. And it's interesting because, even as marketing and business has changed and expanded over the years with the online space, really the principles of it are still the same. Like you've got to meet people, you've got to get in front of people. They have to know, like, and trust you. You have to build that relationship. You still have to service your clients and offer exceptional service. You have to, do referrals, and there's so many things, but it's still like the actual meat of it is the same. It's just in a different container, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, but the thing is too, is that I think, and I was mentioning this last week in the podcast, I think what's really different about us though, was that we loved business from the beginning. We loved the business side of it. And I think that so many coaches, when they first get started, they're so scared of the business side of it. And they always, I hear this all the time, but I just want to coach. And I'm like, unfortunately, you can't have that mindset unless you want to go and work for another organization. But if you want to build your own coaching, you have to start to let go of the fear of business and start to fall in love with it. And I think that the first steps of that are just starting to know, okay, how could I actually make money doing this? Because when you
Yeah.
start to see how the containers it's in and the possibility, you're like, maybe I could do this, right? And that then opens your eyes up to the possibility. And then the possibility then goes into the actions that you need to take, and the actions create your results. So,
And I think too, sorry to interrupt, but I also think it's also like when you think about the different ways that you can make money as a coach, which I know we're going to talk about today, it opens you up to the idea that you don't have to do the thing that maybe you're dreading, and you could actually choose a different pathway, because it's not so linear. Like everyone thinks it's like, I'm going to become a coach and then I have to do this next step. It's like back in the day when you were like, I have to go to school and then get a corporate job, which is what we thought. It's the same sort of thing as a coach. You're like, okay, I got to get my certification and then I'm going to have to go work at a clinic, or I'm going to have to go and do this thing. But it's like, it doesn't have to be that way. There's so many different avenues that you can take. And I think once you see what's possible, then it kind of gives you this like relief almost to be like, oh, actually, I could do that. And that feels much more in line with who I am and how I want to show up and what makes sense for me. So it makes it feel less stressful and a little bit more of like in alignment. I can't think of a better word for it, but it's like that alignment thing has to happen. So, and I know we're going to talk, that's the whole purpose of today, is to really kind of share different ways that you can make income as a coach, as a holistic nutrition coach. Because again, it doesn't have to just be like, I got to get my certification and then I have to go work in a clinic, or I have to go and build this massive thing. It can, it can be different things.
well, and I think too, before we get into the actions of it, I think one thing that's really important that a lot of people, again, it's misunderstood and it's kind of pushed in the online space, is that there is a one size fits all way to generate income as a coach. And I think it's really important to listen to all of these different options. We have what we recommend, right? And it's not saying it's the only way to do it, but I also think it has to go in line with your personality. So, even from the very beginning, I was never a one-on-one coach, and I still am not. I like group coaching. I like the energy of it. I like the conversations that happen in it. I like the results. I like the community. I like all of that. Personal training, even one-on-one nutrition coaching. I give the same amount of energy to one client as I do to 50. So for me, it's like I actually find it really draining, and I don't feel like I'm making the impact that I need to make, and also the income that I want to be making. So for me, group coaching is like 100% my jam. But if you're someone who is really into building strong one-on-one relationships, you're nervous to talk in front of a group, you hate that, you don't have to do that. There's so many other ways that you can generate revenue, support your clients, do it in a way that fits for you, right? So it's like there's our recommendations, but I do think it's looking at your personality type and seeing, okay, what if these resonate with me right now? Maybe I will build up to a place where I'm doing group coaching, but maybe right now my comfort level is I'm going to build a really great one-to-one coaching practice and then move into groups. So we're going to talk through all of that, but I just think, I know for me, I don't like getting put in a box and people are like, oh, you have to do this to generate revenue. And it's like, well, actually, there are people out there who are very successful doing the opposite. So it's like, here's our recommendations, but also run it through your filter of your personality.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're going to share our top 6 ways to generate revenue, generate income in your business as a holistic nutrition coach. Now, the first thing I want to say is that we have the stance, and of course, we have our holistic nutrition weight loss coach certification, but it's all about, to me, focusing on weight loss coaching. So I want you guys to think about this through the lens of weight loss coaching, because it is the number one thing that people come to health coaches for and are willing to pay for. It's still number one after all the years of the polls and the stats and the research, and it's the highest growing field in coaching. So I really, really recommend that anyone who is nutrition coaching understands how to get your clients to a weight loss result, especially when you are building your business. So the first way, and this is what we talked about last week, is running group coaching programs, specifically group weight loss coaching programs. So I gave a little bit of my reasoning why I love group coaching programs. So Amanda, I would love for you to share what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. I think that with group coaching, it takes away a lot of like the pressure for me I always found like when I was doing one-to-one, and I've done a lot of like one-to-one coaching, but I always found with one-to-one coaching, it just feels more, and I don't know if it's just like because it's such an intimate environment of like one-to-one that it just feels like, I don't know, I just feel like there's more pressure on me to like perform in a different way. And again, it's the same energy and everything else that you have to give during that time. So I like the idea of group because I get to maximize my time and energy. I like get to maximize the effect that I can make, but also I think one of the things that group fitness really does is that it allows for it to be more
Not
accessible.
group fitness, group coaching.
Or group coaching. Yeah. So I think that one of the things that group coaching allows for you to do too is that it allows for you to make it more accessible to more people.
Mhm.
So meaning, if you're doing one-to-one coaching, oftentimes there's a bit of a premium price tag on that because it is one-to-one. You're spending more time with that person. You're doing sort of like a customized plan specifically for that person. Whereas if you're doing group, you can still like coach people in a customized manner, but you're kind of doing this like blanket, like coaching calls or check-ins or things like that, where if you're doing one-to-one, it is very much like you're time trading for money. Where I just feel like with group, you're making it more accessible because it's also, because you're able to lower the price point because it is group. It makes it more accessible for more people to be able to join, to be able to work with you. Sorry, I feel like my brain just went like all over the place on that, but it's like, but that's really what my thing is
No,
that
I
I
totally
feel like
agree.
it's just, yeah, I feel like it's just like number one, it's like, it's less intimidating for me as a coach, and it feels like I can make more impact, and it also feels like I can make it more accessible.
Well, and that's where too, again, it's one to one and one to many, right?
Hmm.
Now, both of them have their nuances, right? When you're managing a group, you have more clients, you're going to have to do more customer service. There's usually more questions outside of it. But then you also get the benefits, like Amanda said, you make it more accessible to more people because you usually can charge a lower price. You yourself can maximize your energy and efforts. You get the benefit of the community, which I think is one of the things that if you have a great community that supports each other, then also changes the experience of the group coaching program. So if we're going to give you some, advice on what to do with a group coaching program to generate revenue. So number one, I would say is run it as a group weight loss coaching program. Do it for a minimum of 8 weeks. Now, the reason, of course, is not necessarily taking your clients to their end goal at 8 weeks, but that for especially new clients, it feels doable to commit to while they're seeing, okay, is this going to get me results? And what's great about a group coaching program too is you can repeat it. You don't have to build a brand new coaching program. You just are continuing on with it in the next 8-week block. So you have a program to run continuously, and you're not always starting from scratch with, a one-to-one client and having to build out their specific plan all the time and always getting new clients. It's like, what you're running again in 8 weeks, so you could focus on serving your clients and marketing.
Hmm.
So when it comes to pricing, anywhere from an 8-week program can be anywhere from, some people charge $297. So it really depends on, again, who is your audience that you're going after. So there's not, like I said there's not one magic way to make money. There's not one magic way to price either. So you have to kind of do your research. It depends who you're serving. If your clientele is, higher income earners who have more disposable income and, or in that's your audience. Or if you are helping people who are stay-at-home moms who might not have as much disposable income, right? Then you can decide on your price point. So it all really depends on those factors. And we talk about all this stuff in certification, but I think that that's kind of my initial rule of thumb when it comes to doing group coaching.
I think too, I was just going to add too with the price point, it also not only is it related to, who you're serving, but it's also what's included, right? So, because if you're running a group coaching program and it's very much just like a DIY where you're like, I'm going to give you the group coaching program and we're going to kind of just check in once a month or something, there's a very different value associated to that versus if you're like, and every week I do a workshop and then I also check in with you personally and for 10 minutes every week, and I also give you a private Facebook community and all of these things, because then your price point changes based on the value. But again, Laura said, like, we do talk about this in certification. We have a whole pricing masterclass that I teach you all about all of this stuff and how to like value everything. But it's such an important factor to think about because it's all about, the different layers and how those are value perceived from your client's perspective.
100%. So the first group coaching program, The second way to earn money, revenue, income, money, all the words, doing holistic nutrition and weight loss coaching is running a membership site. So this is something that I feel has gotten really popular over the last couple of years. And again, it is a form of group coaching. So again, we're still in this group coaching mindset, right? Like one to many.
Yeah.
So running a membership site is essentially, the idea that you pay a monthly fee, there's a subscription. So think like Netflix. Someone's going to pay you a subscription to be in your membership, and you're going to offer them, whether it be, again, a group weight loss coaching program, not the same as the support of the original one, but usually it is more of like resources, like you said earlier, DIY, they're leading their journey. It's usually lower price per month. And then one of the goals is to eventually get them into your group coaching program to then be able to give them a little bit more of a personal touch. And that again is because the membership site is a lower cost, and then the group coaching is usually a higher cost, and then your one-to-one is like a premium. So membership sites, I feel like, are becoming so popular, especially because everything that's going on with the economy. A lot of people don't have the money to invest, or they're very wary of a lot of coaches. Like, am I going to like this? They're not ready to invest a huge amount of money in a coach that they've never worked with before, never seen their style, their materials, all of that stuff. So a membership site can be a really great place to start.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say too, like, I think membership sites are great because it's kind of like the catalyst or like the starting point for a lot of people, because maybe it's like they don't know you as a coach, but maybe also they feel like, well, I've tried, fad diet X, Y, and Z, and I've tried all of these other programs and I've tried all of these things and nothing has really stuck or worked. And so they don't necessarily believe in, and you might be like the most amazing coach and have the most amazing program, but they don't believe necessarily right now that the program will work, that you're the best coach for them, or that they believe that they'll even complete it. So they need to have the belief in all three areas, like in you as a coach, in the program, and then of course in themselves. I think in themselves is probably the biggest one. It's just like a lot of clients come to you and they'll feel like almost defeated before they even start, because they're like, well, I've tried everything, nothing usually works, so this probably won't work either. And they kind of go into this mentality of that. So the idea of spending a premium price on a program might feel really daunting versus a membership where it's like, oh, if it's $17 a month or $27, feels like less of a scary commitment. They're like, okay, I can do that, and I can test the waters and kind of see, is this making sense for me? And if it is, then I'm ready to sort of take that next step. So it's like a stepping stone, right, into like their full blown program.
Yeah, and the thing is too, I love membership sites as well, because you really can still take people through an amazing journey. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't mean that it's like you're just dumping a bunch of resources in there and they have to figure it out. You're still taking them through a journey. The idea is then your group coaching is more of a personalized version of that with more support from you. So I just think I just see it. It's the way that things are really going. And you don't need to have, again, a lot of new coaches get really stressed out, like, oh, do I need all this tech and all of these, plugins and websites?
Everything fancy. Yeah.
Yeah, you literally can run a paid membership in a Facebook group. Now, of course, there are some things you're going to have to bootstrap together that some of these other softwares don't have. But if you're first testing, okay, are people going to be even interested in it? You have that free option to even get it up and running. So I think membership sites are a really great place. I wouldn't say necessarily, no, I do think they're a great place to start, but they will take time to build up if you don't have paid advertising, because you need like volume coming in. But the other thing too is it is also, I think of membership sites, and this is the last thing I'm going to say about it, as post group coaching support as well. So if you have people in your group and they still want to stay with you, but they don't want to sign up for your group over and over and over again, it is also a place to put people after they've taken your group coaching program. So they're still staying consistent. They're still in your world. They're getting that post group coaching support. And then they can always jump back into your bigger program later on.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So usually for membership sites, a lot of them are anywhere from like $7 to $100 a month. Again, it depends on what's included, your offerings, your clientele, your strategy. Some people go lower cost to get more volume. But again, those are all things that we talk about in the program. Okay, so the third thing to make money as a holistic nutrition weight loss coach is creating an online course or program.
And clearly this is
is something, yeah, we love an online course or program.
Yes.
But this is something that's more around educating your clients on an area of holistic nutrition and weight loss. So not necessarily taking them through like a weight loss journey over 8 weeks, but it's a lot more like, let's say your clients are, because in holistic nutrition, we learn all about balancing hormones. We learn about digestive health. We learn about food intolerances. So let's say you work with clients who have a lot of food intolerances. So maybe you're doing a course on how to do an elimination diet.
Yeah.
Right. So that is, teaching them about food intolerances, elimination diets, how to do it properly, and they pay a fee and they sign up for that course or program. And again, it could be no support, or it could be that you have some sort of coaching calls or check-in calls throughout it.
Mm-hmm. You're basically, you're basically providing tools so that you can help your client get to a goal that they want to get to, but you're giving them the tools. It's not like you're not just mapping out something to follow along. You're actually educating them along the pathways so that at the end of it, they're like, I understand this now and I know how to do this on my own. Right. So that's the whole point of like a course or anything like that, because that's the thing that most clients want. They don't want to feel like, oh, if I stop doing this program, then I won't know what to do next. They want to have everything in their arsenal so that they can continue to support themselves. And I think as a coach, it's such a great thing it's like a gift that you're giving to your clients, because you're giving them the opportunity to have long-term success versus just short-term fixed success in a program, right? By giving them a course, by educating them through those tools, you're actually teaching them how to manage those food intolerances, recognize them, and then, at the end result, heal or take care of any kind of intolerances, understand it from a different perspective, not just put a Band-Aid approach on it.
And the thing is too, is remember guys, these things all feed into your group coaching program, if you were listening to last week. So let's say that's your clientele as you work with, you help people with food intolerances or women with food intolerances lose weight. Well, this mini course could be an education, and then, okay, let me help you implement this elimination diet in my 8-week coaching program, right? So it's another pathway into your business, but all roads are leading to a group coaching program, because that's something you can repeat month over month over month. And you're not running like, okay, I do weight loss coaching and then I just talk about gut health and elimination. And then I talk about, hormonal balance. It's like everything makes sense and it feeds into the one place. So courses, again, can be anywhere too from, $7 up into, thousands of dollars. It just depends on what it is that you're including, what is the outcome of the course. I always think, again, all roads lead to the group coaching program. So I'm like, okay, what can we do that's like not a lesser commitment than the group coaching program? So an online course is, I think, so amazing. And it's something that you could have running ongoing that also helps to bring people into your world. Mm-hmm. Okay, the fourth thing is challenge. Yes, we love challenges at Fit Chicks Academy.
Also a fave at FCA. Challenges, I think challenges are such a great tool, because challenges are also a really great entry point into your coaching business. So everything that we're talking about, it's like the main thing is like, the main course, of course, is like the main group coaching program that we talked about at the beginning, but everything else is like these lead-ins into it, right? Because that's the whole point. Like Laura was saying, to get everybody, eventually all roads lead to this. But challenges are such a great one, because challenges are like the thing that's like, okay, there's a definitive start date, there's an end date. I know I'm committing this period of time to doing this thing. I'm going to do this challenge, and it's not as scary because I'm not committing to a big long, like challenges are usually like anywhere from like 7 days to 28 days, like kind of in that range. And you just you're like, okay, I know what I'm signing up for. Like, I know what I'm doing. I'm doing this, like, and it's going to be challenging and hard because that's the whole point of it during this period of time. But it's such a great entry point for people to come into your business. It's such a great entry point for them to get into like their like health and wellness and like focusing on like a different area, right? Like with a challenge. So I love challenges so much. We love
challenges. Yeah, and also they're super fun. They're great to engage your group. So if you have had people with you for a long time, it's something different, and at Fit Chicks Academy, we have our Done For You challenges. We have our Done For You Sugar Shutdown Challenge, which is like a sugar detox. We have one called the Total Body Cleanup, which is all about nutrition and habits. We have our 10K Steps Challenge. So they just really, I think, not only are revenue amplifiers for your business to bring in a boost of cash or more new clients, but also they're such a great way to keep your current clients being like, oh, we're doing something different. This is really fun. They're great around the holidays when people are looking for a kickstart. And when you have a a challenge, again, you don't have to build a new challenge all the time. You can run it in different seasons. So I love a challenge. And challenges too, to participate, usually they're around, I would say, like 19 to, I've seen up to $197 to participate,
we used to charge 127 for our 28-day total. But again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. It depends on the involvement. If it's a challenge, it's like a DIY, like here's the challenge, do it yourself and good luck. Or if it's like, here's a challenge and we're going to have a Facebook community and we're going to do live trainings every day on like what we're doing and we're going to share and we're going to have check-ins and we're going to do all this. It's a totally different value associated to each of those things. So it really just depends on, like, for you as a coach, you need to look at it and think, do I want this to be something that's very hands-off, or do I want to be very involved in it? If I want to be very involved in it, the price point can go up a little bit more. And so you have to look at it from that lens every single time with anything that you're doing in your business. Is this more 100%. Me or less me? Yeah.
Okay. So then the fifth thing is writing ebooks or sample meal plans. So these are really hot, and especially in the online space, is people want to just go and purchase a sample meal plan. So a high protein meal plan, ebook that's around, again, it could be what your online course is. So going back to your how to do elimination diet, you also could sell an ebook that is the same topic. It's usually focused around a topic. Right. And again, it's something to bring people into your world that's a lower cost way to get them a small result. I always think when it comes to a sample meal plan or an ebook, you should really think about getting them like a quick win. Like maybe maybe they're going to have an aha. Maybe it's a quick shift that they're going to do, like how to shift your habits in the next 28 days, how to shift, like how to do an elimination diet. At the outcome is they're going to know how to do an elimination diet. The sample meal plan is like, maybe it's, a 10-day paleo meal plan to kickstart, like something that gives them a quick result, but they also can see what it's like to be inside of your world.
Mm-hmm. And the thing with like sample meal plans or ebooks or anything like that I want to share with everyone too, is that you don't have to recreate the wheel. Like a lot of that can come from your main program. If you in your group coaching program, you already have like, oh, I've got this whole like guide that includes like how to do an elimination diet and then all of the different foods and all of these things and like blah, blah, blah. And like all of these, like, it's a 20 chapter book that I give to people as part of my program. It doesn't have to be that, but I'm just using that as an example. You could literally be like, okay, what are the main things that someone needs to know to get a quick win? Like, oh, probably like chapter 1 and chapter 3, and I'm going to pull that out, or like the first 10 pages of this, and I'm going to pull it out and I'm going to create this mini ebook. So it's almost like, it's like an appetizer to the main course, right? I don't know why I'm thinking about food. I'm not hungry, but I'm thinking about it.
Well, it is nutrition we're talking about.
Yeah, so maybe that's why, but it's like, that's how I see it, right? It's like you can take your information and then you package it in a different way. And by packaging it in a different way, it allows for you to have a brand new material to put out, but you're literally, because if someone then signs up to your main program, they're not going to be like, oh, this is like a repeat. I already learned this stuff. Because it's like, well, yes, the first 10 pages. However, all of this other information that I'm giving you, plus this one-to-one support, plus this is totally different. So it's not even like a comparison at that point, right? It's really just like a stepping stone. So I just think, don't feel like, oh my gosh, and then I have to try to think of new content to create, and I have to think of all these things. It's like, once you have your main program, pull pieces out to create the other things.
People love, a short taste tester, and they could be also things you offer in your membership. Like there's so many different ways. Obviously, when you're first starting, you guys don't have to do all of these things, but we're just giving you options in what you can grow into. So ebooks, they could be anywhere from free, but we're talking about making money. So again, you could charge low cost, like $7 up to, I always usually say around $37. That's where, and again, depending on what's in it. So we even have like a lot of resources that we offer at FitChicks, done for you resources that you can reuse in your programs and things like that to speed up that process. And the last one, even though it's lower on my list, I still have to say it, is one-to-one coaching. And I think that even you don't have to be an or game, it can be an and game. So be mindful of your time, but to generate revenue, especially when you're first starting out, if you can't fill a group coaching program, offer one-to-one. While you're doing all these other things to go into group coaching, if you can get 1 clients, you'll build momentum. right? You're going to get real life business experience. Also, I know people who have group coaching programs and they always have about like 5 one-to-one clients that they charge a premium for and that prefer to work one-to-one with them. And they have, you know what I mean? Like they have that little nook, which is a great extra revenue stream. And it doesn't take away from their group program and other things that they're doing. So it's not an or game to me, it's an and game. But if you're focusing, it's a different mindset for group than it is for one-to-one. So if you're first starting out, just get the clients in. Get the one-to-one clients while you're thinking about, I'm going to get them into a group coaching program, and once you have enough of them, try to get them into the group coaching program, right? Like, and then later on, you could have one-to-one clients to complement it. But I do think that it's something that a lot of in this online space, people are like, no, either you're one-to-one or you're taking, or your group. You're either high ticket or you're low ticket. You know what I mean? Like it's either you charge a lot or you're super low price. Like you can be both. And that's why I think this conversation is great because these are all different types of offerings that you could do that have all different price points, right? To start to build your group coaching program, which is the main source of your income. That group coaching program, guys, is the repeatable income that gives you a base every single month. All of these other things to me are what I call revenue amplifiers. They amplify your revenue, they add more clients, they add more connection, but the group coaching program is the main source of the ongoing revenue.
Yeah. And I think, well, I agree with you on all of that. And I think when it comes to one-to-one, again, it's not necessarily like my favorite way to approach it, but if I was starting out in coaching, I'm not going to say no to one client. If one client wants to hire me and, I'm like, oh, but I don't have 3 or 4 to run the group, because I'm going to run a small group in the beginning. So I have to like turn them down, like, no way. I'm going to say, okay, for sure, we can do one-to-one. And I may, think of it from the perspective of like, okay, especially if you're just starting out, the idea of trying to find like 5 people, 10 people, 20 people might feel daunting. To try to find like one person, maybe another person, and you have these one-to-one, it's a really good starting point. It builds your confidence and builds your skill set. It gives you testimonials. It does so many things for you as a coach and as a business owner. So it's actually a really great tool to start with, like you said. And then, yes, if you want to continue on and you have like, even when we were running our group coaching programs and stuff like that, I remember I had 2 one-to-one clients that I worked with, one doing yoga and then another one just doing like fitness and nutrition and stuff. And I had this just on the side, and it was really just like, number one, it was a relationship that I'd had for a long time. And they were some of the first people that had kind of hired me as a coach. And then also it was something that was just like this little like extra revenue stream that I had on the side that was just like, okay, it's like this relationship I have, I know what we're doing. We have a really good like rapport, and why not? Right? This is more comfortable for them. Why would I not do this? Why would I not want to help and support them? But I didn't want that to ever be the main focus, because the amount of energy that it takes to coach one person for 1 hour versus 20 people in a group coaching program is completely, it's the same type of energy you're going to give, right? So, totally. So it's really just thinking about how can I maximize my time, maximize my energy, maximize my impact. So one-to-one is good as like a side sort of thing, but I don't think it's like, in my opinion,
it's not the long-term plan.
I wouldn't say exactly. It's like, it's not the thing that's going to help you scale and grow a coaching business.
But when you're starting, and this is what I think, is a big misbelief in business, is that a lot of people look at people like us who have been doing this for years and they didn't see our chapter 1. They didn't see us taking any clients, running boot camps, running nutrition programs with 3 people in them as a group coaching program, right? Till we built up the know-how. And one thing too, a lot of people say to me, well, I don't know, I'd like to do one-on-one, but I don't know what to do with my one-on-one clients. Like what do I do with them? How do I sell a package? I always say, so in our holistic nutrition weight loss coach certification, in our level 2 option, you get a done for you 8-week group coaching program, right? So all this we're talking about, you don't even have to build the program. You get the program. You have to go out and find the clients. However, I always say use the 8-week group coaching program that has the one-to-one sessions. It's the same thing. You're just going to do it in a one-to-one format. So you already know what you're doing with your client for 8 weeks. So even if you're just starting out, you have one person, take that 8-week program, run it with one person. Mm-hmm. And they're just going to have more access to you. So, okay, everybody. So that is our episode for today. I hope this was helpful. Those are 6 ways that you can make income as a holistic nutrition coach specializing in weight loss. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, we have our coach day coming up, our holistic nutrition weight loss coach day. So if you're curious about holistic nutrition weight loss coaching, make sure you get your free ticket at fitchicksacademy.com/coach day. because we're going to have a whole day of teaching and coaching all about not just the business side of it, but also the actual holistic weight loss coaching side of it. So it starts at 11 o'clock on February 24th. So tickets are limited. Make sure you grab your ticket. And we're also counting down for the start date of our holistic nutrition weight loss coach certification on on March 4th. So the time is now. If you're thinking about it, come join us and see if it's a fit. We're gonna have a lot of fun.
Right. We will
Okay,
see you at
everybody,
Coach
have
Day,
an amazing
everyone.
day, and we will talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.